Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, spiritual global entrepreneurs. Welcome to the EGU podcast, Abundance Frequencies. You're with Michelle Reinhardt. Let's get cracking. Today we're diving into client attraction with a very special guest, a country girl and wildlife carer who likes to hermit on her lifestyle property with her 4 kangaroos, 4 beautiful horses, bunnies, birds and nature that surround them. Hello and welcome to the show, Vanessa Talbot.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello, Vanessa. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
you're a hot day.
Well, it is. It is hot here too. So, yeah, beautiful Australia, hey?
I know. Aussie's the best.
It sure is. Hey, guys and girls, Vanessa is going to lead us into a workshop today to help you discover what's extraordinary about you. With a snippet from her signature program, Step Into the Spotlight. Vanessa's a profile builder, a coach and a mentor, specializing in igniting coaches to be seen and heard by boosting their profile and increasing their influence, resulting in their magnetic attraction for more leads, more clients and more opportunities. Now, I love the magnetic attraction because this is the world we are living in today. Isn't that right?
Yeah. I like it too. It sounds, like attracting people to you is so much better than the old way where we used to feel we had to chase for clients and chase them down. I prefer to see it the other way where we can bring people to us or just attract them to us.
I agree. It sounds so wonderful. So folks, grab a pen and paper. You'll need it today. Turn off your zings and pings for 30 to 40 minutes. Please take a moment to set your intention to learn a new set of game-changing strategies, to find your special power and connect it to your message so you can stand out in the crowd. Vanessa, would you please start us off by sharing what you do and how you got into it?
Look, what I do is mainly work with coaches and change makers. So anyone that's out there with a big message for the world, wants to, heal the world, transform, just help people along. That's the people that I work with. So a lot of them fit into the coach mode. But of course, some you might do other things, as I said, healing, psychics, that sort of stuff as well. And what I do is help them get known, basically, because a lot of them, there's a lot of really, really amazing people out there, but they're not getting enough clients, or they just because people don't know who they are or what they do. So my aim is to show people how to get your message out there, be seen and heard, so that you do start to attract clients. Because it can be really, really hard work if nobody knows who you are to actually get clients. So yeah, it's about getting people to connect with you and what you can do with them, so what your message is. So that's what I do with coaches and change makers.
And how did you get into that, Vanessa?
Long story. I'll keep it as short as possible.
I love stories.
I originally was the owner and CEO of a large company in the mining industry with my husband at the time. When we got divorced, I got chucked out of that company, basically. So, he took that and I took other stuff. So I had nothing, no income, no nothing. And I had this property that I'm here at the moment where as you said, I like to hermit on. I had this property with all these horses, this wildlife caring I wanted to do, all these animals. And somehow I had to make some money. So I was just sitting there, just flipping through a magazine one day. It was like Conscious Living or something like that, and there was an ad for life coaching. I had no idea what a life coach was, but I thought, I suppose people had always come to me for help and advice. So I thought, well, that sounds interesting. Rang up, signed up for it, and within 2 months, I think it was, of signing up and starting my coach training, I had international clients in the US who were all want to be authors and trying to get signed and published. So I stepped into that mode of first off helping authors, because what I heard them saying was, I don't want to get known. All I want to do is write. And I had to kind of work with them and get into the headspace, because Reed Tracy at the time, who is the CEO of Hay House, had said to them all, we won't sign you unless you've got a following, an audience. And they didn't want to. So I got in there and started to show them. First, in those days, it was working around the mindset of standing out in a crowd. So that's what I started out with. And then as I developed along and got to know things, and I worked with a couple of celebrities as well that helped me, also came in with then the strategies that you can use combined with mindset to get yourself out there, get your message seen and heard.
That is so powerful. And I love that you go back to mindset, because that's where it all starts, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. So you can learn all the strategies you want, but unless you've got, the right space around it in here, it's not going to work that well. You'll have some sort of resistance to actually building a following and to standing out from the crowd. So you can imagine the amount of resistances that we would all have around standing out and being seen and heard.
Well, it absolutely, and it's as scary as anything when you make that decision to step up and to shine, because all of the beliefs, all the things we've been told, all the lies essentially come back to plague us, and we need to beat them. We need to step up and literally erase them and replace them with a new truth.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's mainly the first bit that we work on. And then once we've got a lot of that solved and abolished, we'll then move on to, okay, so how do we do this? How do we build a following? How do we build our own tribe? How do we get to reach an audience?
All right. Now, that's the bit we're going to help people with today, yes?
Yep.
Fantastic. So what is personal branding, Vanessa? Take us through that.
Personal branding, well, I tend to not label it personal branding, but a lot of people do. I tend to call it your unique style. What's your style? And I think, to me, that has more meaning. And I also think it's, in a way, it's easier for people to comprehend than what's my brand. So what my brand, what is my brand can be a little bit manufactured. Well, what's your unique personal style, and have that stand out, that will feel more easy for you. Do you know what I mean? You should feel more comfortable with knowing what your unique style is that's going to have you stand out, rather than fussing around what your brand is. It is one and the same thing, but you can see the difference in how you can view that mentally between brand and your own unique style.
I do see that, and I love, I have been stalking you a little bit. I apologise for that. I love the way that you allow people to not be beige, to be comfortable.
That's the idea of it. And just to give people an idea of why I really started focusing more on the coaches rather than what I started out with was the authors, and now it's really the coaches and the change makers, which does bring some authors with that as well, because a lot of us out there now are slashies.
Yes.
All the speaker and all the healer, all the rest of it. So, yeah, it's a lot of the slashies now that I draw to me. But I was mentoring at one of Australia's biggest coach training facilities. So, and I discovered that what happened when a lot of people were being, coming through any coach training at all, is they kind of try to follow what everyone else is doing, and they didn't even really get the grasp of how to stand out. It was just like, I'll offer some free sessions and I'll get some clients.
Yeah.
And a lot of them all looked the same, like they were all doing the same sort of photographs, which, I'll be very honest, was making them all look like real estate agents. So there was this lineup of, Century 21 people all there in a line, or saying they were coaches. And nothing was individual was standing out with them. And it was really hard work for them to start to, bring those clients in. They had to really work hard just to find one client.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, this needs to change.
All right. So what is the very simple question that you ask, pardon me, that allows people to start that life-changing process?
Yeah, so the first thing that we actually do when we are looking at finding your unique star power, that's my other name for it, star power. When you're ready for that, at the moment you can start out with your unique style, but when you're ready to step into star power,
beautiful.
So that's just the mindset shift. The first thing that we actually always look at is how are you unique? So what are the 3 things that make you memorable? And this is what you have to think about in yourself first. So it's what are the 3 things that make you memorable? And if you don't know them yourself, go and ask friends, family, clients, and they will be able to help you. So a lot of the coaches that I'm working with, they've already got some clients, and it's like, well, go to your clients and ask them what was it about you that made them come to you, because that's a standout quality. So it might be, warmness, realness or something, but think beyond that also. What else is it? So you can even get quirky here. Just for an example, for me, I know that one thing that makes me stand out is my wildlife and my animal activism and all that sort of stuff. And what happens because of that, Michelle, because I do show a lot of that, I will get a lot of animal people to sign up with me because they see kindred spirits. And that's what it's about, finding your kindred spirits, and that's how you're attracting them, by showing those unique, even quirky, but memorable things about you. So the first thing you need to actually tap into is just, how are you unique?
And I love, just going back to when we started, Vanessa, you hit on a really, really important topic. When you mentioned that that's what people are coming to you for, often the uniqueness in us and what we're really good at is what, as you say, other people can see, but we don't see it in ourselves.
Yeah.
And it will be the same thing. I had a client myself come through the other day, and she said, I keep getting people coming and asking for advice, asking for me to solve their problems, da-da-da. And I just said, so what are you going to do next? And she goes, oh, my God, is it that simple?
Yes.
Yes is the answer. Absolutely. So 3 memorable traits.
Yeah, 3 memorable traits about you. So that's what you've got to come up with. And if you find that you struggle with this one, as I said, ask friends, family, clients what those memorable things are as well. But there should be something for each and every one of you that is uniquely you, special talent, special way of being. I find with a lot of coaches, one of the first things that comes to mind, and I'm not putting ideas in anyone's head by any way, but it is natural for many coaches and healers who work in this environment to have a very deep warmth about them. So that will often come up. Doesn't mean that it's not one that I actually use for myself. I don't see myself as warmth as being my special talent. But for other people it is. So find those 3 things.
Okay. And then what do we do with those 3 things?
Okay, well, you just leave them for the moment because you've got a list of 3 things that are memorable about you. So they're those little exotic things about you, whether it's, I like putting on my leathers and go motorbike riding. It might be something like that.
Yeah.
As well as other qualities. The next thing you need to tap into to find your unique star power, that's going to formulate your style or your brand for those that are talking in that sense. The next thing that you really, really want to have a think about is, what are your top values?
Nice.
What are your 3 top values? So I'm going to use myself as an example here because it's easy. Obviously for me, one of my top values is nature and wildlife. So nature.
Yeah.
Another thing for me was adventure. So I like a lot of variety in my life as well. Sounds bizarre since I'm a hermit on my property. But because of that, you know, being in my comfort zone so much, I do like to have a lot of variety, whether it's in what I eat or when I'm planning holidays. They've all got to be adventure-based. So have a think about what your top 3 values are.
I'm just going to encourage our listeners and our guests or viewers, if you need to pause now and take stock and just take care to get this right, to get your values in place whilst you're in the energy with us, do so. Because it's really important. Coming from a healing perspective, one of my top values is integrity. You know, that I feel integrity in people even before we connect. And that's the beauty of being an energy healer, I guess. But yeah, we all do have absolute uniqueness, and no one person is the same. We're all as unique as our individual fingerprints. So take the time, all the time you need, to dig a little deeper and find those uniqueness, because as Vanessa says, they are the things that will magnetically attract people to you.
Yeah, and this is a good exercise to become aware of yourself as well. Yeah.
Well,
if you haven't thought about your values, now you can.
Exactly. And how many people actually do take the time to sit and deeply introspect within their own soul? You know, we are problem solvers. We're out there helping everyone that comes into our zones, aren't we? When it comes to us, it's important to take that time.
Yeah. So top 3 values. Once you've got those written down, you should have 2 lists. One is, you know, what's unique and memorable about you. The second one is your top 3 values. And then you move along to your top 3 personality traits.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. So this should differ a little bit. This is probably where you'll have your warm and your caring come through more so. And if it doubles up, that's okay, because I'm going to tell you why that's going to be really handy in a minute. But for the moment now, your top 3 personality traits. And this is another thing where you might be able to tap into what you like about yourself, but also what other people say about you as well is a good one for here as well with your personality.
Yeah, again, yeah, absolutely. Specifically, if you haven't taken the time to look at yourself, you will be mirrored in the people around you and what's going on. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I've had coaches put down fun, and that ends up becoming part of their branding or their style.
Nice.
Because they put, well, my main personality is, you know, I'm an extrovert, I'm fun, all that sort of stuff. While other people are more introverted. So there's pluses to that type of personality trait as well in terms of introversion. But what is the pluses for you if you're an introvert?
Well, there's plenty of them, isn't there? Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the extroverts are going to attract the extroverts, and the introverts, and vice versa.
That's what happens. There's exactly, Michelle, there's this gorgeous coach who I won't say who it is, but she's a good friend of mine, and she's just out there all the time, and she does a lot of live events, always, you know, out networking, live events, complete opposite to me, who, you know, might do 3 live events a year in person, because I tend to like to stay home. Because, you know, as we know, extroverts are fueled by other people's energy.
Of course.
Yeah, and introverts need to be alone to re-energize. So it's 2 different things happening there.
Yes.
And she definitely, we're complete opposites and great friends, and she definitely draws a lot of the extroverts to her programs. Well, I do tend to get myself, the quieter, more introverted ones coming into my program. Suits me perfectly. Because we do get, you know, the quiet ones saying, you know, of the other coach, oh, it's just too much for me. But for her clients, I'm too sedate for them.
Yes.
So this is where we're going back to. There's nothing wrong with that. We can't possibly attract everyone out there. Not everyone's for us. So it's, again, we're going back to our qualities and attracting our tribe to us.
Most definitely. Absolutely. So we've got our 2 lists.
You should have 3 now. You should have quirky, not quirky, but your unique, memorable stuff that you do or what is about you, your top 3 values and your top 3 personality traits.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So what you then have to look at is you've got to look, are there any double ups there for starters? And if there is, give it a big circle or a big tick. But if there's not, go through that and you've got to narrow down your top 3 favourites there.
Ah, beautiful.
So you've got 9 of them there, which is a good all-rounder of who you are. Now you've got to find out what's my top 3. And it's those top 3. And as I said, if something's come up more than once, then obviously you're going to put a big circle around it. It's really important. What you're going to do with those top 3, they're going to become your unique style. It's going to build your star power. And when you do all your branding, you'll be able to bring that in. So, for example, with my style, it's very much about stepping into the spotlight. It's very, there's playfulness, there's luminosity. So I talk a lot about shine, and a lot of my banners, if you see them for Step into the Spotlight, they've got a lot of the stars, the sparkle type things. It's just little pockets of luminosity around, because I love that vibrancy and that shining, and that's to me what Step into the Spotlight's about. And the other one that comes up a lot for me is adventurous. So I'll say yes to just about everything. And that's the adventure in me, like say yes, figure it out later type thing. So my unique style became playful, luminous, and adventurous. And adventure is something that I make my clients take on as well, because it's like, how many guest spots can you get? Say yes and look for amazing guesting opportunities like you and I are having a chat today. But I'll get my people out there looking for, being adventurous and looking for guest spots where they can get on and show who they are.
Yeah, it's the old show me, don't tell me, isn't it?
Yeah. And then, so that forms my brand. And then, of course, many people have that little extra, which was with my little extra, it's that earthy, down to earth, which is a good contrast between the high vibe of, adventureness, playfulness, and luminosity. And then I have that down to earth quality, which keeps me very connected to earth, keeps me grounded in such a high vibe arena that I'm playing in.
Yeah.
And the animals, all that's my grounding. So that's my little contrast pocket one at the side. You may have a little pocket one at the side, which you might not show so much in your branding, but you might choose to show a fair bit to your followers and on your social media.
Understand.
The top 3 will be your branding style, and then you can have a 4th one that is something that you'll show outside of that branding to your followers as well. So you'll be finding your top 3, and there may be a 4th one there that you're thinking, I don't want to leave that out. You don't have to. If there's a little extra one there, just pull it aside and know that, okay, it's not going to be in my branding, but it's definitely still part of my style, and I'm going to allow people to see that part of me. So if you're the motorbike rider, whether you want to have you dressed in leathers and on a motorbike in your branding, it may not work, but you might want to show that in photographs and show your audience that side of you as well.
I like that. I do. I really love that, because a lot of us will get that little niggle of truth that, I can't leave that bit out. That's who I am. And it's important to show that, but it may not be fitting for the brand. Yeah.
So said the animals, the down to earth, very nature girl stuff that is me to a T, didn't actually suit Step into the Spotlight, because, have a think about it. Like, we want people to get into a high vibe and realize that they can actually get their message out there. They can shine and stand out. But being all earthy and that doesn't correspond. But it's a nice contrast. And, it works this way. If I can do it, being a really shy, just animal-centered and very introverted person, if I can step out, you can too.
I really love that. I love it. And it's so true. It's so true because we are multifaceted with our personalities, and everyone likes to come out and play and should have the chance to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why mine came in as well, because I thought it's a great contrast. It shows a story, it tells a story. And that's what you're looking for with your unique style as well. Like, what's the story in there as well behind your style? So this is why when you look at the top 3 ones and see what's there, and just then start to try to picture it. How do I now represent that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a good coach friend, and she was fun, family, and fast were her top 3. Fun, family, and fast. So, of course, her branding has got the hot pink, fun. She shows a lot of her family pictures to her followers. It's all about family as well, and she talks a lot about them. And, even when she's doing videos, sometimes the kids can pop up in the background. So family is very much, and she's quite happy to show it. I understand those that don't want to show that side of them. But for her, she said, yes, that's part of me. It's so important to me. That's what I'm going to show. And fast. So all her products and programs and that are centered around very fast and quick results. And the names bring that in. That's because her branding and style became fun, family, and fast.
Lovely. That's really, really good. I love it.
And that's how you work it out. So as I said, mine was playful, luminous, and adventurous. And if anyone goes and looks at Step in the Spotlight, you'll see that come through. And even in my group, I'm not very corporate-y style. I play a lot with people in there. So it's about knowing what your top 3 are and bringing it through. And nothing's right and nothing's wrong, but at least you'll have something that's going to make you stand out than you trying to, fit into a suit and be all professional. If that suits your audience, that's fine, but you've still got to have another edge to it.
Understand. Understand. So that is, in essence, one module of your course.
So what we do, there's more to it in that. So I wanted to I didn't want to go into it in massive, massive depth, but I just wanted everyone listening to be able to just have those 3 lists. And even if you don't have them right now, that doesn't matter, because now you'll be thinking about it and watching for yourself as well, and listening for what other people are saying about you too, and being able to pick up what it is that's unique about you. And then when you've got those top 3, then you form your whole style and essence. It's going to make you stand out, your branding. So, I've seen some, and you can see they do the whole, with some of them, the lady coaches out there might do the whole city chic thing, and pictures of Paris and lifestyle and sophistication, that sort of stuff. I would say you must, though, make sure that it's you. So if you're trying to do something just because you think it's working for others, or it seems the popular theme at the moment, at the end of the day, I would say it will come back to bite you at some point.
I love it. And it's you couldn't be more true. That's so right.
Yeah. So I have seen some people say, I've got to do the whole lifestyle coach thing, or I've got to do the whole, dining at the Ritz type thing, because that's, all the big names are doing that with their images, and they try to emulate that. If it's not truly you, I would suggest not to do it, and I would find what's more unique and special about you. Because if you're trying to be someone that you're not, guess what's going to happen? You're going to attract the wrong clients to you first off. You might get clients by doing that style, but they're not really going to be the ones that you're going to gel with,
No, they're not, because they'll be attracted to a false persona, and that will come through. The more you work with someone, the closer you become. Yeah.
And so if you're doing, city chic and pictures in front of the Eiffel Tower and all that sort of stuff, because that's what is the current rage at the moment, those particular people that you're drawing because of that style and branding actually belong to the people that's true to. And you actually should be drawing your own unique once.
Absolutely. Like with giraffes in the background and stuff.
Yeah, looking at me the whole time. That's okay. I love giraffe.
So do I. So do I. Now, Vanessa, I did ask you when we chatted first up if you could leave our audience with 3 hot takeaways. Do you have those notes handy, or would you like me to prod you?
Remind me again. It was a while ago.
It was a while ago. So the first
Christmas and New Year since then.
Yeah, we have. So the first one was everyone, yes, that's you too, has something unique and extraordinary that will have you stand out from the others in your niche.
Yes, and that's true, because when I first get my clients to do this exercise, they struggle thinking, oh, there's just nothing unique about me. That's actually not true. You've actually got to just list, you don't have to have 3 things. You might have a list of 10 things that you decide is unique and memorable, and then pick your top 3 favourites that will make your, memorable list.
Yeah.
But you're still going to narrow down from that again. But if you could do the exercise before you even start that, perhaps if you're struggling with it, okay, what your job now then is to do is after this call, after you've listened to this call, you need to write down, just get a pen and paper and write down everything that's cool about you.
Love it.
Yeah, you don't even have to choose the top 3 favourite bits yet, but everything that's cool about you.
And if you need to ask a couple of best friends, then ask them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good place to start. And that often then gets you thinking wider about who you are and what's special about you. We're all so unique and so special. And that's what you've got to tap into.
I love that. Absolutely. Thank you, Vanessa. That's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was too many coaches and change makers are beige.
Yeah.
Trying to be like each other when really you want and you need to stand out. Standing out is what will attract an audience and clients to you. Yeah.
So you can imagine that one of the big mistakes I see with coaches, even with their social media page, so for example their Facebook page, one of the big mistakes I see is that they'll rely too much on doing inspirational graphics. So, the quote graphics and all that sort of stuff. And so you go to their business page and it's just full of inspirational quote or graphic after another, after another, after another. And they're not even their own quotes or graphics. They belong to other people. Now, even though they work well for shares, there's no doubt about it, we're not actually finding out about you and who you are.
Yeah.
So we get that, it's inspirational and motivational, and I don't mind. I think it's fine to use them. I use them myself, but try and use your own words and make inspirational graphics, and maybe only post an inspirational every 3 or 4 days and choose to post other stuff in that time. So people are getting to see the more roundedness and get a look into your unique personality. Another thing that they do too is that when you're first starting out in business, you will find you'll tend to spend a lot of heartache and agony and hours over working out your logo, yeah?
Well, I personally didn't, but I know a lot do, and it's all more about the little small stuff that doesn't make you money, because it's a procrastination form, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll sit there and we'll agonize over logos and everything like that, and then when we finally get something that we're happy with, we'll pop it up on our profile pic on our business page so that your logo's there. Guess what? Nobody cares. Sorry, but it's true. And obviously it's important to get a branding and a look, and a logo will be part of that. But don't stick your logo up in the profile pic on your social media page. Put you there, put a nice picture, because that's more what people are drawn to. People aren't specifically drawn to logos. They are meant to be a representation of you, but it's not exactly a draw card.
No, I get that completely. Thank you. And the last one, I'm going to let you elaborate on this no fence sitting.
Yeah, I think this one is the toughest for people, especially when you're new into the industry as well. I work with a lot of the newer coaches coming up as well. Again, that's going back to beige, just sitting on the fence, not having any strong opinions about anything or making a stand on anything, and just trying to fit in. Now, if you're just fence sitting and trying to fit in, how can you possibly stand out, and why should anyone listen to you?
Good point.
Yeah. So the point is, we don't want to be obnoxious or anything like that. It's not about creating controversy or anything, that's not what it's about. But it's about having some strong opinions for your particular industry, the area that you work in. So, for example, I'm really very, very vocal on no discovery calls for coaches, like don't market free discovery calls. Now, that gets me a lot of opposition from the coach training schools and some other coaches who say, oh, but it works for me and blah, 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 blah. But I stand my ground. You're wasting your time marketing free discovery calls. And this is not the call to go into why.
Yes.
But I'll stand on that one. And I even have built products around how to actually take a prospect call and not turn it into a free coaching session, but actually convert them. So I have all that. And it's getting known and having a message. So what happens with me saying no to free discovery calls, I'm then attracting those who say, oh my God, finally someone who I've been doing all these free discovery calls and I've never managed to sign a client because I'm doing free discovery calls. And they go, finally someone who's, I get it. So what do I do otherwise? I'm attracting them. I'm repelling those that go,
yeah, there's only one way.
Yeah. So I'm not kind of sitting here, but if I was sitting there and not having any opinion at all around that area, I'm probably not going to get any attention whatsoever on that.
Absolutely right. Oh,
yeah. So it's about tapping into what do you see that needs some work or healing or some adjustments perhaps in your particular field of expertise, and being able to stand up and say, this is some of the changes I think that I feel is needed, and be a voice for those changes and that transformation, and know that without doubt there will be those that will tell you otherwise and you will get opposition, but you're not here to please everyone. You're here to find those who are aligned with your message. Absolutely
right. I love it. So we've just to recap the 3 hot takeaways from Vanessa. Find your uniqueness so that you can stand out in the crowd in your niche. Don't wear beige in any way, shape or form.
Don't be beige.
Don't be beige, exactly right. And don't sit on the fence. And take your time. Just come on out and do so with authenticity, with uniqueness, and you will be embraced. It takes time to build that presence, doesn't it, Vanessa?
It does. I mean, I was just looking this morning at a big name coach, Taki Moore, who is, built a huge audience, and you will see that he's very opinionated about certain things within the coaching industry, and he does his videos and that around it. And he has built a huge following from people who think he's making sense. I want to work with him. I want to go with him, just because he's so vocal and opinionated. He doesn't do it in an obnoxious way. So it's not about slamming it down people's throat. It's just about delivering it in a way that it's going to reach the ears of those who it's going to touch. Well, they need to hear that at that time. It's what they are waiting to hear. If they're not ready to hear it, they'll just bypass it.
Well, that's exactly right. I couldn't agree more. As those that are sitting here listening to us today are ready for the message that we've got for them, and I dare to say they're probably ready to take a next new step in their careers and their lives as well. And if that is anyone sitting here listening to us, if your life's not exactly where you'd like it to be, just know that you don't have to do this alone. There is an easy way and there is a hard way, and it's much easier to have someone journey with you that's been where you've been, that can take you where you want to go. And Vanessa's signature course just may well be that for you. Vanessa, where can people find you?
Okay. Well, I have my group, Step Into the Spotlight, which is just coaches, authors, entrepreneurs, Step Into the Spotlight. That's on Facebook. So that's quite a large group. So you can come and play in there. You can also head along to, excuse me, I just got a cough. Extraordinarybeings.com is my website. And Step Into the Spotlight, which is the profile building program for coaches and change makers. That round is actually starting soon.
Fantastic.
Yes, mid-February, I think, we're set to start on that one. So you can still jump in on that if you want 6 months of profile building, step-by-step guidance. That's and you get to do cool stuff like this.
Yeah, I know. It is. It's very exciting. I've had goosebumps running up and down my spine for half of our conversation. So I love the work that you're doing, Vanessa. Thank you so very much for joining us and for shining your light on our show.
Thank you for having me, Michelle.
You're very welcome. So look down into the show notes, can't even talk, guys and girls, to find Vanessa's details. If you're looking for me, you'll find me at $1,000,000mindset.com or on Facebook also at Entrepreneurs Globally Unite, working with energy, mindset and healing transformations. You've been with Vanessa Talbot and Michelle Reinhardt. That's it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week and shine bright. That's why you're here. See you next week. Thank you, Vanessa.
Bye.
Bye.